What is the zodiac? Which signs of the zodiac are there in a horoscope? What do the astrological signs and the radix mean? What are the Kabbalistic and occult teachings regarding the zodiac signs? What are the differences between the tropical and the sidereal zodiacs, and how are they used? What are the most important meanings and characteristics of each zodiac sign? We will explain all this to you in a moment. Brotherhood of the Eternal Light. Teaching the Western Mysteries. What is the meaning of the signs of the zodiac and the horoscope? To clarify, the planets are the basic forces of the horoscope. What do the astrological signs stand for? They are the 12 archetypal ideals. They are also called the signs of the zodiac. These 12 basic types color the powers of the planets. They determine how the planetary powers express themselves. The planet shows which kind of power we deal with. The signs of the zodiac show us in which manner this power takes effect. Let's take Mars as an example. Mars is about energy and willpower. As you can see in the radix, Mars is in the sign of Aries. Aries is characterized by the quality of an active, immediate expression of energy. When Mars, the planet of energy and willpower, is in the sign of Aries, the sign of instant expression of energy, then its effect is impulsive or impetuous. A lot of energy is available, but it's used all at once and is not likely to last long. There is great potential for assertiveness. In our second example, Mars now stands in Scorpio, the astrological sign which is characterized by its transformative quality, which penetrates into the depths. If Mars now stands in Scorpio, its form of expression is radical. There is a strong energy present, which releases hidden potentials to carry through transformations. In the macrocosmic tree of life, the zodiac is assigned to the Sephirah Chochmah. In Chochmah, the second Sephirah, which corresponds to the divine will, the unity of Keter is differentiated into a variety of potential possibilities. In Chochmah, the different soul sparks, called Chaya, arise, which represent the different basic human types. The Hebrew term for zodiac is Mazalot. In the zodiac we find 12 such basic types, which are differentiated from the 4 classical elements with their 3 different manifestations in astrology. We will discuss the derivation of the astrological signs in relation to the elements and their qualities in more detail in a special video. Let us now clarify the question of what the zodiac means and what the zodiac is. The term zodiac is derived from the ancient Greek zodiakos kyklos, meaning cycle or circle of little animals. The word refers to the majority of animals or mythological creatures among the astrological signs. The zodiac is a broad belt of stars which extends about 10 to 15 degrees to each side of the ecliptic. In the graphic you can see the ecliptic, the apparent orbit of the Sun around the Earth. From the perspective of the Earth, the Sun only moves through certain constellations in the sky. These are the astrological signs used in the horoscope. Some of the zodiacal signs have been symbolically associated with animals or mythological creatures since early antiquity. In the universe, there are many more constellations. For astrology, however, only the 12 signs of the ecliptic are relevant because the orbits of all planets seen from Earth run through these 12 signs of the zodiac. This 360-degree orbit is represented in the radix as a circle and divided into 12 equally sized sections. In the horoscope, therefore, each of the signs of the zodiac comprises 30 degrees. In our videos on horoscopes, we often show the zodiac as shown here. The zodiac signs are represented in the radix in the following way. The interpretation of horoscopes is almost exclusively based on the tropical zodiac. The tropical zodiac refers to the movement of the Sun over the course of a year as perceived from Earth. The course of the Sun marks the 4 seasons. The astrological year begins at the vernal equinox, which is located in the radix at 0 degrees Aries. From there, the Sun travels around the Earth in 1 year through the 12 signs of the Zodiac. 1 year later, spring begins again at 0 degrees Aries. The vernal equinox is the intersection of the ecliptic, the apparent orbit of the Sun around the Earth, with the celestial equator. Usually on 20th or 21st of March, the Sun cuts the celestial equator in its apparent Earth orbit from the south and marks the vernal equinox. This corresponds to the tropical zodiac, which orients itself on the apparent course of the Sun around the Earth, with the typical calendar dates for the 12 constellations. Here are 2 examples for the position of the Sun in the radix. As already mentioned, it is here at the vernal equinox, just in the sign Aries. It is sunrise, therefore the ascendant is also there. Now the Sun stands at the autumn point, just in the sign Libra. It is half a year later. Since it is sunrise again, the ascendant is also in Libra. The sidereal zodiac also exists. It is oriented to the current position of the signs of the zodiac in the sky. By a very slow gyroscopic movement of the Earth's axis, a constant backwards shift of the vernal equinox through the signs of the zodiac takes place. This is called precession, from the Latin precedere, to go ahead. A total 360-degree orbit lasts about 25,800 years. The sidereal zodiac is divided into 12 sections, each 2,150 years, so-called world ages, sometimes also called Platonic months. Approximately every 72 years, the sidereal zodiac shifts by 1 degree relative to the tropical zodiac. Currently, the vernal equinox is in Pisces. From the perspective of the Earth, we experience a very slow shift of the constellations. The tropical and sidereal zodiacs no longer coincide, as was the case in the first millennium before the Common Era, when the tropical and sidereal zodiacs were still relatively identical. The sidereal zodiac shows the influences of the eons, the world ages, on human development. In an individual horoscope, the sidereal circle therefore plays a subordinate role, since the horoscope is about the development of an individual. Therefore, in the interpretation of a birth chart, the tropical zodiac is used almost exclusively, since it shows human ideals. Let us now take a brief look at the 12 signs of the zodiac and some important features. We will treat each sign in more detail in our further videos. Aries, the sign of the ram. The Sun is in Aries from the 20th of March to the 21st of April. Aries is a fire sign with cardinal quality. Aries marks the vernal equinox. The first house or ascendant corresponds to Aries. Its ideal is immediate active power expression. Possible problems are aggression, haste, and impatience. Taurus, the sign of the bull. The Sun is in Taurus from about the 21st of April to the 20th of May. Taurus is an earth sign with a fixed quality. The second house corresponds to Taurus. The ideal of Taurus is stability as well as a sense of reality and form. Possible problems are materialism and inertia. Gemini, the signs of the twins. The Sun is in Gemini from about the 21st of May to the 21st of June. Gemini is an air sign with a mutable quality. The third house corresponds to the sign of Gemini. The ideal of Gemini consists of versatile interests as well as communication. A possible problem is incoherence. Cancer, the sign of the crab. The Sun is in Cancer from about the 22nd of June to the 22nd of July. Cancer is a water sign of cardinal quality. The fourth house, or the imum coeli, corresponds to Cancer. It marks the beginning of summer. The ideal of Cancer is sensitivity, receptivity, and loyalty. Possible problems are attachment and vulnerability. Leo, the sign of the lion. The Sun is in Leo from the 23rd of July to the 22nd of August. Leo is a fire sign with fixed quality. Leo corresponds to the fifth house. The ideal of Leo is dignified self-expression and self-presentation. Possible problems are pride and vanity. Virgo, the sign of the maiden. The Sun is in Virgo from about the 23rd of August to the 22nd of September. Virgo is an earth sign with mutable quality. Virgo corresponds to the 6th house. The ideal of Virgo is practical, arraying intelligence. A possible problem is pettiness. Libra, the sign of the scales. The Sun is in Libra from about the 22nd of September to the 22nd of October. Libra is an air sign of cardinal quality. It also marks the autumnal equinox. The 7th house or descendant corresponds to Libra. The ideal of Libra is the need for harmony with fellow human beings. A possible problem is fear of arguments. Scorpio, the sign of the scorpion. The Sun is in Scorpio from the 23rd of October to the 22nd of November. Scorpio is a water sign of fixed quality. The 8th house corresponds to Scorpio. The ideal of Scorpio is the release of hidden potentials and inner energies. Possible problems are jealousy and desire or lust. Sagittarius, the sign of the archer. The Sun is in Sagittarius from about the 22nd of November to the 21st of December. Sagittarius is a fire sign with mutable quality. The 9th house corresponds to Sagittarius. The ideal of Sagittarius is holistic intellectual striving. A possible problem is leveling down. Capricorn, the sign of the mountain goat or the horned sea goat. The Sun stands in Capricorn approximately from the 21st of December to the 20th of January. Capricorn is an earth sign of cardinal quality. It marks the beginning of winter. The 10th house or medium coeli or mid-heaven correspond to Capricorn. The ideal of the sign Capricorn is ambition as well as striving for achievement. Possible problems are greed and stubbornness. Aquarius, the sign of the water-bearer. The Sun stands in Aquarius approximately from the 21st of January to the 20th of February. Aquarius is an air sign of fixed quality. The 11th house corresponds to Aquarius. The ideal of Aquarius consists in impersonal humanity as well as human rights. Possible problems are exaggerated distance and impersonality. Pisces, the sign of the fishes. The Sun stands in Pisces approximately from the 21st of February to the 20th of March. Pisces is a water sign with mutable quality. The 12th house corresponds to the sign Pisces. The ideal of Pisces is turning inward and selfless devotion to an ideal. A possible problem is loss of reality. This was our overview of the zodiac and the zodiacal signs. We are happy if you give us a like, and if not already done, please subscribe to our channel. Remember to also activate the bell to be informed immediately about new videos about various topics of the Qabbalah and Western mystery tradition as well as astrology. See you soon in the next video.